Wilson here sitting in for Dan Deicher this week. Dan is over on the eastern side of the state, some sort of big football camp, I don't know, Green Bay maybe, interviewing a lot of the big names over there, but he'll be back with us next week. So while he's gone, I get the job here of bringing you today all the action from the local tracks here. We're going to start with, of course, La Crosse Fairgrounds Speedway. Let's go now with the late model feature race this week, I should say. Another great night for Steve Carlson. Let me tell you, not only was he the fast time qualifier, but he also won his heat race. Interestingly enough, though, this was the first time he did not make a 6x6 race in the entire season. Interesting. His seventh feature win, though, of the season, Cole Howland jumped to an early lead, but then Carlson came from 5th place and took the lead at about lap 10. From then on, it was all Steve Carlson. Adam Degenhart made a charge on Howland, but couldn't quite get around him, so he ended up finishing third. Howland took second. Mike Kennecke, though, was back for the first time this season. Mike back racing that number 19 car. He took second in qualifying. First time back. Of course, he had newer tires, let's face it. Took second in qualifying and then started at the back of the pack for the late model feature, but ended up finishing in 5th. So a good race for Mike Kennecke. We hope we'll see him out there a lot more this season. Again, Steve Carlson in the lead in points. Brad Powell, 73 points behind him. Brad did not finish in the top 5 this week. So, all right, it was Powell finished 4th. It was Carlson, Howland, Degenhart, Powell, and Kennecke. There's your top 5 for the late models. Take a look at sportsmen now. We had a couple of wrecks in the sportsman division. Starting out, both Tony Lease, Billy Martin, and John Radtke ended up in a wreck there. You can see it at right there between turns 3 and 4. And it actually took Martin and Radtke out of the race. Lease was able to get back into the race. But after here's another one. Look at Jeff Thompson spinning around on that backstretch. Boy, I tell you, we have got some amazing drivers, folks, that they were able to get around him and avoid hitting Jeff Thompson's car. Holy smoke, that was amazing. Anyway, back to the sportsman feature race for this last week. Nick Clements, of course, well, what can you say? Nick Clements had another great race. It was Hesselberg took an early lead, but Nick Clements caught him with about 9 laps to go and held on for Nick's 7th feature win. Steve Bachman, good to see Steve back at the track. He took 2nd. Hesselberg ends up 3rd. Tony Lease, who ended up at the back of the pack because of that wreck, comes in 4th, so he had a really good race. Brad Worthen ends up finishing 5th. Points-wise, our Thunder Stocks, Clemens at 637, Tony Lease is 121 back at 516, Hesselberg real close to him at 502, Thompson is 4th at 456, and Justin Mulligan is 5th with 453, so you can see a battle developing for both 2nd and 4th place there between those drivers, but Nick Clemens seems to have just run away with it as far as the points go so far. All right, let's move on to Thunder Stocks now. Once again, what's the name in Thunder Stocks? Well, Andy Moore. Andy Moore fought his way through and ran away with the race after an early caution. Kyle Lockington ends up taking 2nd. Thomas Farah finishes 3rd. Charles Vian finishes 4th. And Bill Schott rounds out the top 5, finishing in 5th place. What a race that was, though, I'll tell you. And in the points race, Charles Vian is now at 808 with Andy Moore 3 points behind him at 805, and it's been that way throughout the season. These two are so close constantly. Caleb Hardy is running 3rd, I should say, in points with 763. However, Jacinda Paff is 4 points behind him at 759, and Ron White rounds out the top 5 with 737 points. All right, let's move on to the Street Stocks division. I tell you, this is a great division. It's really been growing. We had 16 cars out there last Saturday night for the Street Stock feature race. It was really great. A couple of qualifying races and such, but in the end it was John Aaron, 16 cars. John Aaron and Bob Fort Sr. got into it at one point, but it was Dan Ostoff who ended up getting his 2nd feature of the season. Andy Feldkamp took 2nd. Chris Larson finishes 3rd. Al Bartels took 4th. And Keith Larson ended up with 5th. Here comes Dan Ostoff to the checkers. Boom. Okay, Street Stocks, we've got Aaron still leading at 351 points with Taylor Dobbs at 332, John Burbach at 323, Zeller at 310, and Feldkamp at 296. So it's still pretty much anybody's race. We'll see how the Street Stocks finish up this year. All right, and that's what that's the word, shall we say, from the La Crosse Fairgrounds Speedway. But now let's talk about the trailer race of destruction, because we had a lot of carnage out there for the those of you who were there Saturday night, let's look a little bit at this. We had about, I think it was like 15 or 16 different trailers out there. You can see them parading around. And right away, they get into this huge pileup in turn 2. I mean, it completely blocked the track. They could not get through. It really was quite the blockage. And you're going to see that here as they come up into turn 2. Look at this. Look at this blockage. I tell you, it just ended the race. Red flags came out. Everybody stopped. They had to bring out the Bobcats and move things around and finally get people out of the way. But it was an exciting. Everybody loves the trailer race of destruction. We had something like 3,500 fans there on Saturday night to see this. So the winner, of course, was voted by the crowd, the audience, by their applause and such. And all the drivers stood up on their cars after the race to kind of wave at the crowd and such. And in the end, it was Cheyanne Stanfield who was voted best of the trailer race of destruction by the crowd. And on her trailer race, she had an old Volkswagen Bug. Really, it was an old Volkswagen Bug, and I don't think it even got touched in the whole race. It was amazing how she got through without that thing getting wrecked. But anyway, a lot of fun. Okay, coming up in our next segment, Dan Deicher on Fan Night out at the Speedway had an opportunity to visit with a number of the drivers and get some comments about their season and how things are going. So for our second segment here today, we're going to show you some of those interviews and give you a feel for what's going on with some of the drivers out there across Fairgrounds Speedway. Stick around.
Get ready for the Thunder!
The Mississippi Thunder Speedway.
Your Friday night racing destination.
Every Friday night.
Super stocks, modified.
600 mods.
Pure stocks, street stocks, B-mods.
It's racing excitement, dirt track style. Tickets $12 for adults, $10 for seniors. Students free with an ID. And this year, kids 17 and under free with an adult admission. Friday night racing starts at 7.
Bring on the Thunder!
Dirt track style at the Mississippi Thunder Speedway.
Highway 35 just north of Fountain City.
Some of the best moments in life happen at home. American Standard Heating and Air works smarter to make them all more comfortable.
Over $400 in rebates available on select American Standard systems. Call Carey Heating and Air Conditioning today for a free estimate.
And it's always been a treat to announce this young man and watch how not only has he exceeded his racing here at La Crosse, but throughout the country, and that would be Seymour's Ty Majeski. Welcome back.
Good to be back here. Love racing these guys out here, and looks like a great crowd tonight and a great night for racing.
What does it mean? We were talking to some of the veteran drivers and what it means to them to be coming out here for 30 or 40 years on Fan Photo Night. You're one of the hot shoes here at the Speedway and in the country. What does Fan Photo mean to you?
Yeah, it's great to come out here and interact with all the fans and meet a bunch of new people. It's always good to make any connections you can, and it's always fun coming out here and talking to everybody.
Looking at a couple of races here, we're used to seeing you like in the top 2s, top 3s. You've had a couple of rocky roads here in the past couple weeks.
Yeah, we've had a couple misfortunes here the last couple weeks, but looking to rebound tonight. We have a really good car, set fast time earlier today. Car's got a really good balance in it, so hopefully we can keep the fenders on and bring it home one piece tonight.
We're going to talk to him and hear a little bit about that quick time. One question I did have, you've got your own driver development program this year. Tell us about that.
Yeah, first of all, I'm a part of the Alan Kwiecki Driver Development Program. I'm basically competing against 6 other drivers throughout the country, and one of the criteria for us 7 is community service, and I actually started my own driver development program up in the Bay Area at some local go-kart tracks and helping out younger drivers and kind of giving back.
You know, I think you have to be the first in all my years of doing this that I've ever seen a young driver get a development program for younger drivers. And I'll tell you what, if we see something like that happen countrywide, could you just imagine about how many extra butts we're going to get in race cars in the next couple of years?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, unfortunately, the sport's kind of going downhill, and you know, we need people to start bringing it back. And I know when I was that age, and I always wanted that guy to help me out, and I know how much it means to those kids to have somebody helping them out, and it feels good, and definitely seeing them improve, so it's cool.
This night means a whole lot to him. He's looked at retiring a couple of times, always has gifts for the young ones. It's not about him, it's about the race fans, and that would be the monkey man, John Piotrowski. John, great to see you back in 2015.
Great to see you too, Dan, and you're absolutely right. This is the one event at the track that I make darn sure I'm at, and I'll keep doing it as long as I can.
The monkey thing has gone on for quite a while. I think I finally gave you the nickname, gosh, it's been, 4 or 5 years ago?
Yeah, the Monkey Man, you betcha, absolutely, and it stuck. It was a good day when we come up with that, and it's been the Monkey Man ever since. I got a bunch of little rascals, I like to call them, riding along with me every time we come out here. And
what'd you say, 15 of them in the car?
We're up to 20 now. So, and I'll tell you what, if I ever get in a wreck, I got a lot of cushion with them little monkeys in there too.
Well, what are you giving away tonight? I saw a nice collection. Of course, there's a monkey involved.
Absolutely. For the kids, we're giving away a really nice little blue monkey. And for the adults, I got a beer light. It's a bottle light, and it looks really sharp when you plug it in.
And I know you've got a big thanks going out to the gentleman that you are kind of parked down here with, John Radtke, this year.
Absolutely. If it wasn't for John and Radtke Racing, I probably wouldn't even be here this year. And so, yeah, my hat's off to him because he's done a lot for us this year. A lot.
Known for quite a many years down here, decided to hop out of a Hornet this year and give the big old track a shot. That would be the 7R at John Radtke. How are you, John?
Doing great. Glad to be out here, and it's wonderful to see all these fans that come out tonight.
You know, I was just talking to a partner of yours, John Piotrowski. He was giving you some big kudos for allowing him to run this year. And this night means a lot to you as well, having fan photo night.
It's just awesome to be out here. I mean, it's great. It's, words can't express it.
Talk about the 7R season, kind of slower than you wanted, but every time I talk to you, you're like, I'm not worried. It's a learning process.
This is probably the biggest step I've ever taken in all the years of racing. A huge learning curve, both for me and the car. We're getting faster, and yeah, it's kind of lonely at the back, but we're not always going to be there.
And that's the thing is, I mean, you just can't expect to come out here and start knocking down people and winning races. It just doesn't happen like that.
It doesn't work that way at all, unless, you can even get into a winning car and you're still, if you haven't driven it before, you're not going to do it.
Rookie of the Year is right in your grasp. Did you think when you started the year that you would be able to maybe catch Rookie of the Year?
No, I didn't think it was even going to be close, and that one's really cool. And I'm happy that it's working out. I feel bad for Bob in his situation, but at the same time, it's in my grasp now. I just got to reach a little bit more.
So I would say that if you get Rookie of the Year, there's going to be one heck of a party at All-Star Lanes.
Oh man, you don't know the half of it.
I better get an invite too.
Oh yeah, you're on the VIP list.
Hi Cheyanne, how are you?
I'm okay.
So it was kind of funny because last year at this time, we didn't even think you were going to be racing. How did you decide to hop in a Hornet car this year?
Davey Pennell over there said he would let me run his car, so I brought it home and convinced my parents to let me do it.
So what have you thought so far?
Well, tonight it's good. I've hit the wall a few times, and I'm not really enjoying that, but it's running good now, so hopefully a good night.
What drivers are you learning from out here? I mean, you've got so many different Hornet drivers that you can choose from, and now is it your uncle Rob's been running out here all season. Who else do you learn from?
Anyone that I can stay behind that has a good line, I'll just stick right behind them.
So what's it going to mean for Cheyanne to stay out here racing for years to come?
Oh, I'm getting my hopes up for a sportsman.
Oh, very nice. Going to follow in your dad, Johnny O's footsteps?
If I can convince him to let me, yeah.
I'll have a talk with Johnny O for you.
Sounds good to me.
Get ready for the Thunder!
The Mississippi Thunder Speedway.
Your Friday night racing destination.
Every Friday night.
Super stocks, modified,
600 mods.
pure stocks, street stocks, B-mods.
It's racing excitement, dirt track style. Tickets $12 for adults, $10 for seniors. Students free with an ID. And this year, kids 17 and under free with an adult admission. Friday night racing starts at 7.
Bring on the Thunder!
Dirt track style at the Mississippi Thunder Speedway.
Highway 35 just north of Fountain City.
Some of the best moments in life happen at home. American Standard Heating and Air works smarter to make them all more comfortable.
Over $400 in rebates available on select American Standard systems. Call Carey Heating and Air Conditioning today for a free estimate.
All right, welcome back, everybody. We're going to have more of those interviews with some of the drivers coming up next week when Dan's back here, so be sure to tune in for those next week, okay? But it's time to move on to the Mississippi Thunder Speedway, where things got a little heated, shall we say, Friday night. Yes, as you can see, one of the fans who climbed the fence had to be escorted by security off of the track. Now, this is not something that you want to do, and I imagine, I don't know what sort of action was taken against that fan, but I imagine that the track will take some sort of action against a fan who would make that kind of a climb over the fence and go after one of the drivers. In the meantime, drivers were not too happy. As you can see, they're keeping a couple of them away from each other here as they discuss, shall we say, things down on the front stretch there. But things got a little heated. Even Bob Tim got into the mix, as it will, and you can see drivers not too happy with the way that race ended. I believe this was the end of the B-Mod Challenge, too. Our cameras were actually starting to pack up and leave when they realized something. There's Bob Tim, you can see him there. When they realized something was going on down there, so they restarted the cameras and picked up a little bit of the action. But I tell you, that is not what you like to see any of the drivers do when it comes to racing. But let's get on with some of the action, though. We're going to start with the USRA Modifieds, and it took till the end of July, folks, but finally, former two-time track champion Josh Angst won his first feature of the year. Jake Tim came from fifth place, from the fifth row either, and held off a challenge from series point leader Brad Waits and ended up taking second. Chris Ortle and Joe Alberts finished fourth and fifth. Angst has won some features at some of the other tracks that he's participated in throughout the area, but this is the first time that he's finally won one here, this year anyway, at Mississippi Thunder Speedway. So here he comes around to the checkered flag. There you go. All right, in the USRA Limited Late Models now, we move on to our next division as we look at former 600 mod regular Kurt Lumen wins it. He comes through with his first feature win in a Limited Late Model this year. Congratulations to Kurt on that. He comes in ahead of former feature winner Troy Hovey and former B-Mod track champion Ben Anderson. Bob Fort and Ryan Conkle both round out the top five. They finished fourth and fifth to round out the top five. This is kind of a new, as you know, a new division for the Mississippi Thunder Speedway, and it's doing really, really well. I like the way they look. I think those late models look really great. All right, let's go on to the USRA B-Mod Challenge. This was the big one. The $1,000 purse was available to the winner of this year's B-Mod Challenge. So, up for grab, huh? And Parker Hale stayed in there, passed all the 3 and 4 wide battles that went on as people went battling for position. I'll tell you, he ends up winning the 7th annual Beeman Law B-Mod Challenge, takes home $1,000. Now, Hale dedicated his win to his family and in particular to his grandparents who were there celebrating their 50th anniversary. Had a sign on his car that said, "Happy Anniversary, Grandparents," and it was a very tearful interview, shall we say, down in the winner's circle. So congratulations to Parker Hale on that. Eric Kantz ended up taking second. Alex Williamson comes in third. Casey Knutson took fourth. And John Van Minsel ends up taking fifth in the B-Mod Challenge. All right, let's move on to the Wissota Superstocks now as we continue with some of the looks at Mississippi Thunder Speedway. In the Wissota Superstock division, Tommy Richards continues to dominate, picking up his 8th feature win of 2015. Two-time track champion Jeff Brower ended up taking second. Troy Longowski ends up third. Now, Richards needs 3 more wins to tie the all-time MTS win record of 11 wins. Needs just 3 more. Yes, sir. Brian Fetting and Lucas Plank round out the top 5 winners in the Superstock division. 600 Modifieds. Well, even with 2 bounties on him this time around, Kyle Jumbeck forges ahead to win his 5th straight 600 mod feature. 5th straight 600 mod feature. Wow. Expect those bounties to continue, folks. Chris Gilbertson takes second. Brad Kramer comes in third. Kurt Kramer took fourth. And Greg Wolitz ends up 5th in the 600 Modifieds. Kyle Jumbeck. Great night for him as he wins his 5th straight. That's amazing. I mean, it really is when you think about it, to be able to pull off 5 of those in one season, or even, you know, some of the other drivers, 7 of them. But gee whiz, look at them all. And there he comes to the checkered flag. All right, another division that's really kind of gotten underway this year out at the Mississippi Thunder Speedway and having a great season are the Hornets. So let's take a look at the Hornets feature race now. In the Hornets feature race, a name that I'm sure you're familiar with, Mark Bornitz. Yeah, Mark's been out at the Crosse Speedway for quite some time too. But he and Johnny Sievertson went at it. They were battling for the lead throughout the entire race. Sure, they ended up not making friends over this, from the way it looked anyway. Mark Bornitz ends up winning the feature. John Sievertson took second. Carol Hundorf finishes third. Larry Hollitz, another name we recognize from the Crosse Speedway, took fourth. And Bill Wolf ends up fifth. So, in the mini-mods, Tiana Mifflin won her fourth A mini-mod, while Cole Suckow won his B mini-mod event. So that wraps things up for the Mississippi Thunder Speedway. We're going to have some interesting coming up in just a moment. We're going to take a look at a replay of the big $1,000 B-mod challenge. We will have about the last, say, half or last 5 or 6 laps of the race, so you get a chance to look at that. That'll be our final segment today here at on Seven Rivers Racing. So we'll take a break, and we'll be back with that right after this.
Get ready for the Thunder!
The Mississippi Thunder Speedway.
Your Friday night racing destination.
Every Friday night.
Super stocks, modified,
600 mods.
pure stocks, street stocks, B-mods.
It's racing excitement, dirt track style. Tickets $12 for adults, $10 for seniors. Students free with an ID. And this year, kids 17 and under free with an adult admission. Friday night racing starts at 7.
Bring on the Thunder!
Dirt track style at the Mississippi Thunder Speedway.
Highway 35 just north of Fountain City.
Some of the best moments in life happen at home. American Standard Heating and Air works smarter to make them all more comfortable.
Over $400 in rebates available on select American Standard systems. Call Carey Heating and Air Conditioning today for a free estimate.
Everyone on the gas. Green flag is out. B-Mod challenge back underway.
Here comes Parker Hale. What a nice jump he had to the inside. Wheel up on the berm. He's going to bring Williamson with him. Knutson sneaking into the top 5 with his cousin, Lucky John Van Minsel.
Yeah, the loser on that restart was Fern. He lost 3 positions as Van Minsel, Moudry, and Knutson all got around him. Parker Hale right up alongside of your race leader, Eric Cans, in 1 and 2.
Best seat in the house right now goes to Alex Williamson. Got the diamond formation with 2 in front, 1 in the middle, 2 right behind.
Van Minsel and Knutson running 4th and 5th, and it's Moudry. How about birthday boy JT Wasman? He's trying to get close to the top 5 with the 51 machine.
Hale about a half-car advantage down the back straightaway.
Let's see who's quickest out of 4. Down to the line, Parker Hale with about a half a car length advantage as they cross the start-finish line there. Looked like early in this one, it looked like it was going to be all Eric Cans, didn't it? But,
oh, yeah.
But Parker Hale has really come to life.
Well, that's just one of those things. Some drivers can restart better than others, and we're seeing tonight who can do that. And these restarts, you see, cars start bowing out, and you get drivers like Knutson and Van Minsel that start working their way up towards the front.
2 laps to go for the anniversary special. Oh, trouble in 4. One of our drivers goes around.
2 drivers around. One's up against the turn 3 wall. And that's going to set up a 2-car, 2-lap shootout.
Unfortunately, it looks like that's JT Wasman in turn number 4. After such a strong run, he was just outside the top 5. I did not see if there was any contact that turned him around, but he's pointed the wrong direction. I tell you, there's nothing worse than sitting there being able to see the cars come at you as you're pointed the wrong direction. Of course, some cars might be able to make up a little ground, but this restart is critical.
Well, you know, Cans spent the entire race running the outside. Does he take a chance or one to the inside?
First one to step out of line is the one of Van Minsel, and that did not work for him. Knutson to the inside, going to challenge Williamson door-to-door in 1 and 2.
Cans is going to have to get a nice run going on here with 1
lap remaining. Parker Hale keeps that wheel on the berm again. 4 left turns to $1,000.
Could it be? What a way to celebrate the 50th anniversary of Grandpa and Grandma. Down the back straightaway, Eric Cahn's coming back to life. Looking to the outside, he's going to challenge him into 3 under the Quick Trip billboard.
One last big momentous push, and Cahn's is side by side with Hale.
As they took the white flag, Cahn's actually let lap.
Oh!
We've got trouble in 3 and 4, and the caution is out again.
Wasman goes around with Engler again to keep the suspense rolling.
Oh, my goodness.
Got to give these drivers a big hats off. Attrition set in, 4th caution tonight, a lot of money on the line, a lot of horsepower out there. Right now it's either put up or shut up.
Green flag is in the air. Hale comes out of turn number 4, quickly establishes a car length and a half advantage into 1.
Knudsen decides to run the low line, and he almost lost 2 positions staying down.
This restart much better for Van Mensel, but again, that's a 2-car battle for 4th and 5th right now. White flag is out for young Parker Hale.
Kansas is going to go back up top. Hale's going to go back down in these corners. $1,000, 2 left turns to go. Who's it going to be? $1,000 richer is Parker Hale. Cahn's 2nd, Williamson 3rd, Knudsen 4th. And rounding on the top 5 is lucky John Van Mensel. A lot of Jack's Link Beef Jerky folks happy tonight.
Well, there you go, folks. That's the BMOD Challenge won by Parker Hale last week at the Mississippi Thunder Speedway. Congratulations to Parker Hale. Hey, I don't want to leave anything out. We jumped over the sportsman division at MTS, and I apologize for that. Jordan Becker got himself another sportsman win. He has been absolutely unstoppable in that class. That is his 6th win in a sportsman feature at Mississippi Thunder. Well, that wraps things up for us this week. Be sure to be out there Friday night, 6 o'clock. They get underway with mini mods this week out at the Mississippi Thunder Speedway. And then on Saturday, of course, 7 o'clock, we will actually have qualifying live on the internet at kqegtv.com beginning at 6:15 on the internet. Go to kqegtv.com. You can watch qualifying live with me. And then, of course, the racing gets underway live out at the Speedway at 7:30. So you can watch it every Sunday night at 7 on KQEG-TV and our Knights of Thunder broadcast. Thanks for joining me, folks. Dan Deicher back next week. Till next time, I'm Rick Wilson. This has been 7 Rivers Racing.